Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone to Friday Night Live. I hope everyone is well and I hope your family is doing well. You guys are safe, enjoying the weather, the summer. If you're in the United States, if you're in Australia or South Africa, you're enjoying the winter. I haven't seen the Miftaah family in a couple of weeks. Last week I was absent. Maaf kar do yaar, maaf kar do. I had commitments. Apologize for my lack of availability. And I want to welcome everyone from all across the world. We have people joining us from Barbados, for Northern Virginia, and India. MashaAllah, welcome everyone. Inshallah, Mufti Abdul Wahab will be joining us very soon. Tonight, we're going to start off with a munshid, a qari, also a sheikh, scholar who is a great Nasheed reciter. We're going to have him. And we're also going to have an honorable brother, Councilman Basheer, someone that not only did he go viral, he has all the rights to go viral, but the way he has been leading his community, his constituents of his community. So it's been a great success, and to see someone with this prophetic quality of serving the community, something very great. I want to welcome everyone, and I also going to welcome the councilman very soon, inshallah. I want to see you guys smiling. Are you guys smiling? Are you guys enjoying the moment? For those brothers and sisters who are in our time zone, you're going to have to pray Maghrib very soon. So some of us are going to take a break but the munshid will continue to recite, inshallah. Let's invite, inshallah, Qari Saab to the program. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you doing?
Shaykh?
How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. How are you, Shaykh?
Alhamdulillah. How's your family?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Shukr Allah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. How many children do you have? Tell us a little bit. People don't know you. They hear your voice, but they don't know how many children you have. A little bit about your background.
Alhamdulillah, I have 3 kids.
MashaAllah.
Yes.
And their ages?
One, first girl, 6 years.
MashaAllah.
Yeah. And second son, 3.5, and then second one, 2 years.
So the third one is 2 years old.
2 son, 1 girl.
2 sons, 1 girl. May Allah protect all of them, make them righteous. Say Ameen. And make them great scholars and pious individuals, inshallah. I will step away, and inshallah, we would love to hear you recite some nasheeds for us, some naat, and please mesmerize us. Bismillah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. फासलों को तकल्लुफ है हमसे यागर हम भी बेबस नहीं बेसहारा नहीं फासलों को तकल्लुफ है हमसे यागर हम भी बेबस नहीं बेसहारा नहीं खुद उन्हीं को पुकारेंगे हम दूर से रास्ते में अगर पाँव तक जाएंगे खुद उन्हीं को पुकारेंगे हम दूर से रास्ते में अगर पाँव तक जाएंगे हम मदीने में तन्हा निकल जाएंगे اور گلیوں میں قصدن بھٹک جائیں گے، ہم مدینے میں تنہا نکل جائیں گے، اور گلیوں میں قصدن بھٹک جائیں گے، ہم وہاں جا کے واپس نہیں آئیں گے، ڈھونڈتے ڈھونڈتے لوگ تھک جائیں گے، جیسے ہی سبز گنبد نظر آئے گا، بندگی کا قرینہ بدل جائے گا، جیسے ہی سبز گنبد نظر آئے گا، بندگی کا قرینہ بدل جائے گا، سر جھکانے کی فرصت ملے گی کسے، خود ہی پلکوں کی سجدے لپک جائیں گے، سر جھکانے کی فرصت ملے گی کسے، خود ہی پلکوں سے سجدے لپک جائیں گے، نام آقا جہاں بھی لیا جائے گا، ذکر ان کا جہاں بھی کیا جائے گا، نام آقا جہاں بھی لیا جائے گا، ذکر ان کا جہاں بھی کیا جائے گا، نور ہی نور سینوں میں بھر جائے گا، سارے محفل میں جلوے لپک جائیں گے، نور ہی نور سینوں میں بھر جائے گا، سارے محفل میں جلوے لپک جائیں گے، اے مدینے کے ظاہر خدا کے لیے، داستان سفر مجھ کو یوں مت سنا، اے مدینے کے ظاہر خدا کے لیے، داستان سفر مجھ کو یوں مت سنا، بات بڑھ جائے گی دل تڑپ جائے گا، میرے محتاط آنسو چلک جائیں گے، ان کے چشم گر کوئی اس کی خرم، کس مسافر کو ہے کتنا شوق سفر، ہم کو اقبال جاں بھی اجازت ملی، ہم بھی آقا کے دربار تک جائیں گے، فاصلو کو تکلف ہے ہم سے یا گر، ہم بھی بے بس نہیں، بے سہارا نہیں، خود انہی کو پکاریں گے ہم دور سے، راستے میں اگر پاؤں تھک جائیں گے۔
MashaAllah, takbir, Allahu Akbar, MashaAllah. Brother Qari Barkatullah Sahib just recited the verses of Iqbal, where we this is a different Iqbal, this is not Allama Iqbal, but a poet that talks about going to Medina and presenting himself in front of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. One of the most powerful experiences, getting the permission to come there and then presenting yourself in front of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, where Ali radiallahu anhu says, إذا اشتد شوقي زرت قبرك باكيا أنوح وأشكو لا أراك مجاوبي ويا ساكن الصحراء علمتني البكاء وذكرك أنساني جميع البصائب فإن كنت عني في التراب مغيبا فما كنت عن قلب الحزين بغائبي. Speaking about his presence in front of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then weeping and crying and shedding tears and believing that, subhanallah, I'm standing in front of the greatest human that ever walked on this earth, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is what is remnants and these lines and passionately express. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take us there. And sometimes the poet talks about not even coming back, and wanting to stay in Medina forever. Of course, Medina is beautiful, and the Prophet's resting place is also very special, has this tranquility, but serving the Prophet's cause is also something that we have to do. So that was the poem. I'll ask Qari Barkatullah Sahib to recite something and continue to recite with his beautiful voice. What's next? آگے کیا ہے آپ کے ذہن میں کیا آ رہا ہے؟
انشاءاللہ فلسطین کے بارے میں ایک
Palestine.
Yes.
This is a perfect time to hear something about Palestine. And this is in Urdu?
Yes.
This is in Urdu. I'll try to translate as he concludes. But again, if you understand the language of Urdu, please enjoy. If you don't understand the language of Urdu, just nod your head sideways. Inshallah, hopefully you enjoy it.
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم۔ یہ میری قوم کے حکمراں بھی سنے، میری اجڑی ہوئی داستاں بھی سنے، یہ میری قوم کے حکمراں بھی سنے، میری اجڑی ہوئی داستاں بھی سنے، صرف لاشیں ہی لاشیں میری گود میں، صرف لاشیں ہی لاشیں میری گود میں، کوئی پوچھے میں کیوں اتنا غمگین ہوں، کوئی پوچھے میں کیوں اتنا غمگین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں۔ آئے تھے ایک دن میرے گھر، آئے تھے دشمنوں کو بھی تنہا نظر آئے تھے، آئے تھے ایک دن میرے گھر، آئے تھے دشمنوں کو بھی تنہا نظر آئے تھے، اونٹ پر اپنا خادم بٹھائے ہوئے، اونٹ پر اپنا خادم بٹھائے ہوئے، اونٹ پر اپنا خادم بٹھائے ہوئے میری اس سرزمیں پر عمر آئے تھے، میری اس سرزمیں پر عمر آئے تھے، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، میرے دامن میں ایمان پلتا رہا، ریت پر رب کا فرمان پلتا رہا، میرے دامن میں ایمان پلتا رہا، ریت پر رب کا فرمان پلتا رہا، میرے بچے لڑے آخری سانس تک، میرے بچے لڑے آخری سانس تک، اور سینوں میں قرآن پلتا رہا، اور سینوں میں قرآن پلتا رہا، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، نہ ہی روئیں گے اور نہ ہی مسکائیں گے، نہ ہی روئیں گے اور نہ ہی مسکائیں گے، صرف نغمے شہادت کی گائیں گے، نہ ہی روئیں گے اور نہ ہی مسکائیں گے، صرف نغمے شہادت کے ہی گائیں گے، اپنا بیت المقدس بچانے کو تو، اپنا بیت المقدس بچانے کو تو میرے بچے ابابیل بن جائیں گے، میرے بچے ابابیل بن جائیں گے، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، یہ میری قوم کے حکمراں بھی سنے، میری اجڑی ہوئی داستاں بھی سنے، صرف لاشیں ہی لاشیں میری گود میں، صرف لاشیں ہی لاشیں میری گود میں، کوئی پوچھے میں کیوں اتنا غمگین ہوں، کوئی پوچھے میں کیوں اتنا غمگین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں، میں فلسطین ہوں۔ جزاک اللہ۔
Subhanallah, subhanallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help our Muslim brothers and sisters in Palestine, in Gaza, Burma, in Kashmir, in China, in Yemen, in Syria, in Sudan, and all parts of the world where Muslims are suffering. And the suffering of Palestine is, to some ears, it's the same narrative. But for a resident of that land, every single day, every single morning is new. You know, it's you're burying fresh bodies, children, innocent people. Subhanallah, this was a beautiful poem on Palestine, and the part where Umar bin Khattab came to Palestine, Palestine remembers, and the part of the discussion where the poet says that I'm not going to cry, I'm going to chant the victory of the martyrs which are sacrificed. The relentless strength of these people is unbelievable that we are witnessing time after time. May Allah give ease and peace to that region and to all the world, inshallah. We'll do one more, and then we'll have our Councilman Brother Bashir Jones join us, inshallah. We can do one more quickly. You have something in mind? آپ ایک اور کر سکتے ہیں یا
انشاءاللہ کر لوں گا انشاءاللہ.
Okay.
انشاءاللہ میں جو نشید ابھی پڑھنے جا رہا ہوں الحمدللہ سب کو فیمس نشید ہیں، سو امید کروں گا کہ دل کے کانوں سے سب سنیں گے، رسول صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کے محبت سے سنیں گے.
This is about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's saying that he's going to recite a poem, and he wants everyone to pay attention from the ears of their heart. We ask Allah to accept. Bismillah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. الصبح بدا من طلعته والليل دجى من وفراته ہے نور سحر چہرے سے تیرے اور شب کی رونق زلفوں سے اللہ 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 سعتی شجر طاق الحجر شق القمر بإشارته انگلی کے اشارے پیڑے چلے اعجازے سے پاتھر بول اٹھے اور چاند ہوا ہے دو ٹکڑے انگوشتے کے اشارے سے اللہ 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 فمحمدنا هو سيدنا فالعز لنا لإجابته سو محمد ہیں اپنی آقا اسی نام سے اپنی عز و بقا اللہ 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 اللہ.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah. What a classic nasheed, and beautifully recited by our Qari Sahib. Thank you so much. Allah ko jazaak khairat. Aapne apna qeemti waqt nikala hamare liye.
Jazakallah. Everyone, my request to everyone make dua for me or for everyone, for every Muslim brother. Jazakallah khair.
Barakallah. Everybody please say Jazakallah khair to our Qari Sahib who joined us tonight. Beautiful recitation, and of course original recitation of this was done by Sister Ramika, is reminding us Qari Wahid Zafar Qasimi, who is a legend in reciting poems in the love of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thank you very much, Qari Sami. Allah bless you. Brothers and sisters, mashallah, what beautiful recitation by Qari Sahib, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the love of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As we move forward, I'm going to invite Mufti Abdul Wahab onto the screen in a minute, and then Councilman Basheer Jones. I'm very excited for this one. I've been excited for a lot of guests that came on our program on the Friday Night Lives, but to see the work that our councilman, Brother Bashir Jones, has done in the past, a few years, in a decade or so. It's just phenomenal. Before I even bring him onto the screen, let me just give you a little background. And then I'm going to ask him to talk about his success and his career, so some of the youth can get motivated. But he's a very passionate leader, motivational speaker, and he's a spoken word artist with a positive message of empowerment and change. And the scary part about Brother Bashir Jones was born in Brooklyn, New York. I'm not going to say what year he was born because he looks much younger than the age that's described in his bio. Of course, he got his degree and graduated in college in Atlanta in 2006 with studies in African American studies. That's something that it's something that's very needed, and that narrative has to be expressed correctly. He did that. Then he later on pursued his studies at Harvard University in Washington, D.C. Again, very prestigious, very important university, especially for our heritage, on our history aspect, for the community, especially the community of the minorities that we have in the United States of America. Again, he's very passionate and serving the community, giving back. He moved to Cleveland, Ohio, and he was the youngest news talk a radio show host at Radio 1. He's been on interviews with CNN, MSNBC, C-SPAN, and he played a vital role in the 2008 elections. And of course, he's been granted many awards for his service and contribution to the community. And Brother Bashir Jones ran for councilman, and then alhamdulillah, he persisted to run over and over. In 2018, he was sworn in as the first Muslim city councilman in Cleveland, Ohio, in 200 years. Subhanallah, that's just his commitment, his belief in Allah, and belief in serving the community. And that's why he's here tonight, to motivate us, to inspire us, to let us know that anything is possible with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm sure he has an unbelievable story. And I'm excited because sometimes we look at our life and our narrative and you feel a little hopeless. And then someone like the Councilman Basheer Jones shows up from Cleveland, Ohio. I don't know if he's a LeBron James fan. We're definitely going to talk about him a little bit. If he is, my condolence for him getting kicked out of the NBA playoffs. And if he's a Kyrie Irving fan, then you know what? Welcome to the brotherhood. Welcome to the brotherhood. He's a Muslim, and now we can give we give special attention. And everyone knows I'm going for the Nets this year because I got a Muslim brother playing on the Nets. Alhamdulillah. So I want to invite Mufti Saab, Mufti Wahab, then inshallah our councilman. Mufti Saab, assalamu alaikum.
How's it going?
Alhamdulillah. We have the councilman waiting for so long.
Let's not wait any longer.
We're going to be banned in the city of Cleveland after this. Bring him on.
Salam to the councilman.
Wa alaikum salam. How you doing?
Alhamdulillah. How are you doing, councilman?
MashaAllah. I am a LeBron fan, and yeah, man, I feel bad what happened to my guy, man.
Man, have you been a LeBron fan before you moved to Cleveland? You moved to Cleveland 2000 what? 2002?
I've been in Cleveland since I was about 5 years old. So
Wow.
Yeah.
The bio said you transplanted yourself in Cleveland. So I was like, when did this transplant happen? I was like, this, mashallah. So you've been in Cleveland since you were 5 years old.
Oh yes, sir. Alhamdulillah. I moved here with my family. Originally from Brooklyn, New York, and my family moved to Cleveland, Ohio. We were homeless. We lived in a Salvation Army, which is a shelter for women and children. And my mother, I'm a third generation Muslim. My grandparents were Muslim. Mama, dad, Muslim. And but first, let me say thank you all so much for inviting me on the show and inviting me here with you. You brothers are so beautiful, and mashallah, the light is just radiating off of
It's not real, it's artificial light.
Alhamdulillah. It's just Vaseline, man. That's all. That's the shine for me.
But whatever works, man. Don't fix what's not broken. Don't change what's not broken.
Some people shine on the screens, and some people shine on the screens and on the streets. And you shine as a community leader everywhere you go. So alhamdulillah, we're so blessed to have you, and we're so honored. Of course, a lot of times we bring scholars, but the work that you're doing is the work of scholars, also serving the community. Please tell us a little bit about before you go about your background. Listen, give you my condolence on LeBron James. I'm sorry for him being knocked out of the playoffs. You know he's not feeling well. His ankle is tweaked, and then you have AD. He's also growing. He's also suffering from injuries. And
if we're gonna continue, then I'm gonna become Stephen A. Smith, and one of you will become Skip Bayless or Shannon Sharp. Like, we don't want to start a basketball podcast right here, because we can do that too.
When you think about Cleveland, you think about Akron.
We're gonna win a championship this year, inshallah.
Again, belated congratulations to the people of Akron and Cleveland for winning a championship after making so much tahajjud du'as and stuff like that. So alhamdulillah, it paid off.
Man, alhamdulillah. Councilman, I was gonna ask you, but Bashir, like, what that shirt you're wearing it's throwing me off. Is that like a thobe, or is it not a thobe?
Yes, it's a dress shirt. My good friend Yusuf Kroma, he has his own suit collection out of Egypt, and he sent me over a bunch of shirts and a bunch of suits, alhamdulillah, and this is one of them. So
it looks
not
clean.
a thobe, but it's
looking clean.
Councilman, go ahead. Give us a little bit of background, because I want to hear your story, and I want the audience to hear it. Selfishly, I want to learn so much from you. So, Bismillah, I apologize.
MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. Once again, thank you so much, and it's an honor to be here with you. And I'm so proud of being a Muslim. So I'm always excited to be invited to speak to my brothers and sisters. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. When my family moved to Cleveland, it was due to poverty. It was due not having much. We were homeless. We lived in the shelters of Cleveland, Salvation Army. And while we lived there, even while we were homeless, my mother, she would take us to go feed other homeless people. So at a very young age, my mother, she was teaching us that no matter how bad you think you have it, somebody has it worse than you. No matter your situation, no matter your struggle, the medicine for our anger is gratefulness. And my mother, her name was Imani. She passed away 13 years back from breast cancer.
Rahmatullah
my best friend. And she taught me service. She taught me the importance of giving back. And not until I got older did I understand that this was the sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at that age. I just did what mama told me to do. But as I got older, she tied in the Quran. She tied in the sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She tied in the prophetic legacy. And alhamdulillah, it was just something I always enjoyed. I enjoy, to the listening audience, if you ever stressed out, if you ever going through things, if you ever feel depressed, the best medicine is giving. The best medicine is service. Finding out that there are people who are suffering more than you. And you'll find people who are suffering more than you and I, but yet and still they have this amazing relationship with Allah. And may Allah increase us in our righteousness and in our love for Him. So as I traveled and as I was traveled through life, I recognized that service was something that I truly enjoyed. And after I graduated from high school, went off to college, to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, and there just continued serving. Came back to Cleveland, got into radio and some television, and never forgot the thing that gives me the gas to keep moving forward. And that is Islam. Islam is the gas that keeps me moving forward. Now, let me be honest with you. Let me tell you right now, I am not the perfect Muslim. I have my own issues, and we all have issues. And if you say you don't, lying is your issue. So we all are going through something. Every last one of us are going through something. But I want you and I to know that no matter what you're going through, Allah is present. Allah is with you. His love does not run out. His rope of mercy does not break. We just must continue to turn back towards Him. So one of the things that the Prophet ﷺ said, that if you do something wrong, follow it up with something good. And we all are constantly doing something that we are not happy with. So for me, service is a way of cleaning up my soul. It's a way of cleaning up my heart. And it's the way I hope and pray of making the best investment. The best investment that you and I can make is not the money in the nice Jaguar. It's not the money in the nice shoes or the nice clothes. It's not the money in the nice home. The best investment that we can make is the investment in the next life. And how do we make that investment? We make that investment in how we treat the creation of God. So I said, you know what? I want to run for office. Now, I never liked politics, by the way. Never liked politics. But someone said, you know what, Bashir, there's a difference between an elected official and a public servant. I said, you know what? As long as I can continue to be a public servant, then that's what I'll do. So I ran for office. The first time I ran, Sheikh, I lost by 600 votes. The second time I ran, I won by 13 votes. MashaAllah.
Wow.
So, alhamdulillah, the very first thing I did when I got into office was create the Imani Food Distribution Center. Every month.
Your mom's name.
MashaAllah. Every month in my mother's name, in her honor, we feed over 1,000 people in my community every single month. What I want you to understand is that in doing service, no one cares what you say you believe. No one cares what you say your faith is. The only thing that people care about is what you show that your faith is, what you show that your religion is. When we're giving out that food to over 1,000 people, they don't care if you have a hijab or you have a beautiful beard. They don't care about what religion you say you follow. What they care about is how do you treat them? Do you treat them with the sense of honor that they deserve? And if we look at the message of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and look at his tradition and his way, we find that no matter who you were, no matter what you engaged in, no matter what your faults were or your weaknesses, he treated people with a sense of mercy. Allah said that he was sent to be a mercy to mankind. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, are we being a mercy to mankind? Or are we the people who are so judgmental that we are pushing more people out of Islam than we are bringing? And inside of our man, that's why this is so beautiful. That's why I couldn't wait to come and be a part of this. Why? Because of the love that I feel and the love that I see, that people can be excited about being Muslim. But the worst thing that we can do is make people regret coming to the masjid, make people regret being Muslim, because we're not treating people with the love that they deserve and the love that we see from the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the love that Allah speaks about in the Quran. So that's what politics has been for me. It's been about service. And that's why I'm deciding to run for mayor here in the city of Cleveland. And inshallah, if I am successful, if we are successful, I will become the first Muslim mayor of a major city in America. So alhamdulillah, please keep us.
We're rooting for you, Brother Bashir, man. Inshallah, we're making dua for you.
You know what, you're looking at the future mayor of Cleveland.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
The future congressman, senator of the state of Ohio, and whatever. And you know what? If I look at, if I may say, maybe the future running president, and it's not hard for someone like Brother Bashir Jones to do that. I mean, who believed in the possibility of someone coming from the you said your mom was, you guys were living in such abstract poverty where you had, you were living in shelter care, and then coming out of that, and you talk about it proudly because it's important, because there's so many people that can relate to it. And it doesn't, don't get me wrong, brothers and sisters, the Prophet ﷺ had months where he didn't have food. Right? But subhanAllah, when the food came and he looked across and he saw someone else in need, he gave it away. And so exactly what Brother Bashir Jones was doing, and then ran for councilman and the city of Cleveland, Ohio. And Cleveland, Ohio, I'm from Flint, right? And so Flint and Cleveland have a lot of things in common. And so we need people like you there. We need people like who are rooted in value and of faith and service to the community. And the way, like when I see you as a politician, I think before I see you as a politician, you're right. The person that told you you're a people's servant. You are serving the community, and that's the attitude that's kept you so successful and so motivated. What do you think about this?
It's not just like your friend that told you the difference between a public servant and a running official. It's actually our Prophet ﷺ, one of the most famous narrations that relate to leadership, that relate to how to be a a leader that can lead the people that are around him. He told us that Sayyidul Qawmi Khadimuhum, that the greatest leader is the one that serves his people, or the one that serves their people. And that's Sayyidul Qawm. The word Sayyid in the Quran, in Hadith, has always been used to define a leader of good fortune, a leader that's going to bring positivity, because there are other words that are used for leaders that will bring negativity. But Sayyid is only used for those leaders that are going to bring positive change. So that statement that he made is absolutely true and proven by our Prophet ﷺ. Another narration that he teaches us about leadership is, he says that the last person that drinks is the leader of the nation. Last person that drinks the water, the last person who benefits from the wealth that came through, the last person that benefits from any blessings that came into his city or community is the leader. And when you flip the script, then you don't call that leadership, you call that kingmanship, right? That's not called leadership anymore. This is a sign of the Day of Judgment, where the Prophet reminded us not to go into too deep into any type of theological discussions, but he reminds us that a sign of the Day of Judgment is when people will change names to benefit themselves.
Wow.
They can call it leadership, but it's something else. They can call it being a leader of a community, but they have their personal incentive within it. And we can see from you your sincerity, your how proud you are and how happy you are that you're representing Islam and being a Muslim. And hopefully, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows you to continue this process and this growth. But coming back to the topic that we had for today's Friday Night Live is the altruistic heart, right? Which many people may or may not know what it means, but it's the idea of feeling unselfish and rather having the sense of selflessness. That's not about me. And I found that, Brother Bashir, when you were talking about your mother's story, I wanted to make a quick point. I'll give it back to you. People think, right, as soon as they hear the statement giving back, right, giving back to your community, the first thing that comes into people's mind, even my mind, is let me work as hard as I can, earn as much as money as I can, build my portfolio and my profile as much as I can. And
that sounds like me. That sounds like me.
No names. You're looking good today, mashallah. That's all I gotta say. But building your portfolio, Brother Bashir, you're looking better than both of us. Don't worry. Building your portfolio as much as you can. And when I finally reached that epitome that I had, the apex that I had envisioned for myself, then I will come and give back to my community.
Yeah.
But that's not giving back. Giving back is when you don't have, but you're still giving. Even the statement giving back has this connotation, this negative connotation that you have to get more to give. But that's not what was told to our Prophet. What was told to him is أَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ. That you are still poor. You are oppressed in the city of Mecca. You don't have a home. You are boycotted by your own people into a small valley, but yet you're still supposed to give. Giving, it shouldn't be done for the sake of now I have so I can give. No, when you have, you give more. But even when we don't have and we're still trying to grow and we're still giving, that's beautiful, right? When you were saying, Brother Bashir, like if you feel depressed, lonely, just give, serve. That's a prophetic sunnah. To go serve, rather than, it's good to walk at night and go for walks, but imagine my walk also has another benefit, that I'm meeting people, benefiting them. It's the same exercise, but now I'm getting more incentives out of it, right? So this journey that you have begun, and mashallah, I saw your lecture for the first time. I was introduced to you in your lecture for Yaqeen on the Mass Ikna platform, where you spoke and you gave a very powerful speech, and I saw your love that you had. Two things that I really appreciated, that inshallah we all can continue to have, is the love that you had for your deen, but also the love that you had for your mother, right? Wow. That was powerful, because that love has made you the person that you are, and inshallah Allah allow you to continue to grow, and hopefully we can be a source of motivation for each other, inshallah.
Ameen, ameen.
Bashir, I'm selfish. I want to hear a little bit about your mom as much as I want to hear about you. But I think your mom's story has to be shared with us on this platform. Please tell us more about your mother and the same topic that Mufti Abdul Wahab, the Sheikh, has asked about.
Wallahi. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. Subhanallah, man. speak about the bounty of Allah, man. That surah that Mufti said, that's one of my favorite chapters, because it's a chapter that I really resonate with, you know, growing up in the hoods of America, and the statements and conversation that Allah is having with the Prophet and having with us, you know, and he's talking to him like, did not find you as an orphan, did not find you hungry and feed you, did not find you wandering and give you guidance, did not find. Allah is reminding him, and we all have to be reminded sometime. You know, one of the toughest times of my life was the physical death of my mother. That was one of the toughest times of my life, and it still is tough for me today to have physically, you know, lost her. She was my best friend, and this is my mother here. I keep a little picture of her. This is her, right? This is me when I was a baby.
MashaAllah.
My mother, you know,
MashaAllah.
and she taught me the love of Islam and the love of service, Imani. She had me at 18 years old.
Wow.
My dad wasn't really present, and she just, you know, Allah was there, man. Allah was there, man. I mean, we were in the shelters here in New York and Cleveland, and you know, if you don't get there at a certain time, you can't eat, you don't get a bed. I mean, and Allah was protecting us the whole time, you know. And now it's something to me like, wow, man, here I am walking down the streets of Cleveland. I can remember walking down the streets, not knowing where we would get food from. And that's why I started the food pantry, because I remember those food pantries were the reason how we were able to eat. And now here I am running for mayor in the city of Cleveland. And it just doesn't say much about me. It says much about Allah. It says so much about my mother. It says so much about the potential that we all have, that no matter what you're going through, for everyone that can hear me, no matter what you're going through, no matter what your situation is, Allah is not some distant being. Allah is present. And all you have to do is just talk to him. All you have to do is just communicate with Allah. He is your best friend. You know, Allah says in Hadith Qudsi, I am what my servant believes I am. So what is your opinion of Allah? What is your opinion? And I think that we have terrible opinions. Not everybody. I'm talking about myself. I've had moments in my life where I've had terrible opinions of Allah. No way that he will forgive me.
Wow.
No way that I will. No, I mean, I was lying on him. And that's the goal of shaitan, right? Make you feel hopeless of Allah's mercy. Because once you feel hopeless of God's mercy, it's over with. So that was one thing that my mother, she would always remind me, what's my name? Imani. What does Imani mean? Faith. Okay, then have faith. You know, she was very serious about that. So I want to say to your audience, I don't care what you've done. I don't care where you've been. I don't care what mistake you've made. Understand that Allah's love for you is infinite, and he loves you. Turn back to him. Just turn. And guess what? When you fall, get back up again. Get back up. Keep getting back up. Keep getting back up. Rabbina atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. We want the best of this world, the best of the hereafter, to be saved from the hellfire, right? But understand that Allah loves you. You can't even imagine. No matter how much I love my mother, and no matter how much I know she loved me, our love for one another cannot be compared to the love that Allah had for both of us and has today. And that's the message at the end of the day. This message tonight is not for you to, you know, I think that you should definitely vote. I think you should be involved in politics. I think all that stuff is important, okay? If you're in Cleveland, I hope you vote for me. You know, you can go to my website, Bashir for Cleveland. You can follow me on Instagram at Bashir J, right? But none of that stuff matters to me. Like, I did not come here to get your vote. I came here to give you a specific message that never lose hope in Allah's love. That's the message that I want to give to you today. Don't lose hope in Allah's love.
You know, so your mother never really experienced some of the start of your success when you won the councilman. She wasn't there she wasn't there. She's not there right now as you are intending to run for mayor of Cleveland, and inshallah you will win the seat as the mayor, and your mom will not be there. But I tell you this much, Brother Bashir, councilman, that there are going to be hundreds and thousands of other mothers who are going to be inspired by your mother, and hundreds and thousands of our brothers, especially African American, who will look at you, and then also the immigrant community will look at you as a leader for them and their children. And this is why I say this, clearly. Sometimes, your mom reminds me of, the sacrifices of the earlier generation of the Prophet's companions who didn't see the victory days and the success of the Prophet's companions. They left the world very early. Like, it reminds me of Khadija. Khadija never saw the Prophet. The last thing Khadija saw of the Prophet was the boycott, the 3 years of isolated and Shaykh Barkatullah. That's how Khadija left the world. Like, it's like they were just coming out of boycott. She doesn't know what's going to happen next with her husband, and she leaves the world in extreme pain. Of course, she wasn't there when the Prophet came back and conquered Mecca, right? But the Prophet had great time with his wife Khadija radiallahu anha, and your mom had a great time with you in those shelters, in the hood, in the thick of the hardship. I'm telling you, you probably have the most memorable moments with your mother. And if you kind of just sprinkle some of those memorable moments, so for us young people can appreciate what we have, I'd like you to do that a little bit, and just being selfish.
In the same response, if you're able to just talk about like that process of going from a shelter home, and of course there was a lot that was going on for you to make it to Harvard. Like that didn't happen overnight, right? That there was a lot that we always we see the tip of the iceberg, but we don't see how deep it is in the ocean. Like, and for the sake of the work of Deen and in the work of spreading faith and spreading.
We don't know this, right? Like when he just said "Wadduha" to us, right? That Wadduha surah is more relatable to the African American community than it is to us. It literally revealed in that type of language, because us immigrants, we not all of us, but some of us came privileged. Our parents came with the degree, and then they got a job and they got a home, and and you guys had to go through so much. And a lot of times as descendants of Pakistani, Indian, Arab origins, we don't know the struggle of the indigenous African American community, of what they went through. As a mother raising you single mother raising you, almost like your father was in the picture, and in Brooklyn. Do you know what Brooklyn is? Like, really?
You know what Brooklyn is?
I know what Brooklyn is, man. Yeah, man. I know Brooklyn, man. Ask Imam Siraj Wahad. Were you there when ask Imam Siraj Wahad?
Imam Siraj did my akika.
Oh man, Imam Siraj did your akika?
Yeah.
Man,
my grandfather and Imam Siraj and a few other brothers founded Masjid Taqwa.
Oh wow!
But this is a picture that I carry with my mother.
Okay,
that's her right there.
Mashallah.
And she wrote a message on back of it. If you can see that.
Can you read it?
It says, "You inspire me." Love you.
Wow! SubhanAllah.
Right. So
Imam wrote that?
No, his mother.
My mother.
Oh, your mother wrote that. Mashallah.
Yeah. So when you talk about my mom, she. Those who don't respect their mothers, man, subhanAllah, man. Like, either one day you will bury your mother or she will bury you. Your father the same. This is a serious thing. This is not a small thing, the way that you deal with your parents. And we were born in Brooklyn, New York. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I was my akika. Imam Siraj did my akika. He's one of my.
And it was bad times then. It was very bad back in those days, in the 80s.
Yeah, my grandfather and those guys, they did a My uncle, his name is Imam Abdul Malik, you know, from out of New York. And these brothers, man, stood in the corner for 30 days, making sure that drug dealers stop selling this in their neighborhoods. Serious thing, you know, to my brothers and sisters. Listen, let me say this to you. You know, in the Quran, you have a verse where there's a conversation between Shaitan, Satan, and Allah. And it says, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Shaitan says, A'udhu billah, Ana khayrun minhu. Khalaqtani min nar, khalaqtuhu min tin. He says, I am better than him. He was created, I was created from fire. He was created from dirt, from mud. The first racist was Shaitan.
Mm-hmm.
The first racism is on a foundation of Satan. To all my brothers and sisters of other ethnicities and cultures in America, understand that I don't mind, as a black man, I don't mind fighting for Palestine, fighting for Kashmir, fighting for the Muslims in China and the Muslims all around the world. But I need for you to stand with me to fight against white supremacy here in America, to fight against white supremacy, police brutality for your black and brown brothers and sisters here in America. Whether they're Muslims or not does not matter. Yep. It does not matter. We must stand up for justice. We can't just say to be Muslim is to stand up for brothers and sisters overseas in some of your homes, but you don't stand up for black and brown people who are your neighbors. This is a serious issue. Whether it's the water issue in Flint, right? Whether it's police brutality all across America, you know, whether it's the economic development that we don't have an opportunity to take advantage of, right? White supremacy affects every last one of us. And as Muslims in this country, we stand on the foundation of the Nation of Islam, the foundation of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Sister Clara Muhammad, Imam Jamil Alameen, Sister Karima Alameen, all these men and women who gave their lives for us to have the opportunity to walk around and be Muslim. So many people, Sheikh, they saw me say takbir when I won the mayor, when I won city council. They saw me say takbir, and they said, well, Bashir, wow, you're really strong. I'm like, that's not strong. Strength is wearing a beard when it wasn't cool. Strength is wearing the hijab when it wasn't something that was like a fashion phase. That is the courage. And we will not be successful in this country or in the world until we respect the shoulders that we stand on. Wow. We will not be successful. And that's the dawah. The dawah that we have to give in America is not the dawah of pamphlets. It is the dawah of healing the sick, of feeding the hungry, of cleaning up the trash in the neighborhood, and not being the ones that sell the trash to the neighborhood.
Wow.
That is the love that we have to give back to this community. And once we do that, and let me tell you what I've done here in Cleveland, alhamdulillah. I got with my brothers and sisters, Pakistani, Indian, Arab, and guess what? We created something called Salam Clinic. And every Sunday, the physicians come to the hood of Cleveland, and they give free health care to residents in my community. That is Islam. That is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was a revolutionary. He was a revolutionary, and he cared about all people. And that's what we have to be. Not those who are just in your tribe, not just those who speak your language, not just those who go to your mosque, but to all people. And I believe that that's the true love that we have to experience. And guess what? I got that from my mother, man. I really got that from my mother. She was that person where it didn't matter who you was. When you first met her, you felt like you knew her for a long time. And she would just love people. And that's who I try to be. I have my own issues and own struggles, and I ask you to please make dua for me, make dua for my family. But I'm letting you know that I'm going to live my entire life serving. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to make mistakes, because I'm going to make mistakes. And if you see that I've made a mistake, or anyone has made a mistake, do your best not to condemn them in a way that makes them move away from you, or tricks them into believing that Allah's mercy is not available. We
Wow.
have to be the people that speak about Allah's mercy, speak about Allah's love, and speak about the redemption, and do not allow your past sins to stop you from your future salvation. Allah is present. Allah is with us. Just talk to your best friend. Just talk to him.
Amazing. Mufti Wahab, go ahead. I want you to ask.
So Imam Bashir, he started talking about that beautiful this, I guess, the intended digression of speaking about how giving back doesn't mean giving back only to the places that you came from, right? Because sometimes we also get that understanding from the statement of giving back that you're giving back to places.
I'm sorry, you sound a little sick. You all right, man?
Yeah, I've been a little sick, Bajan.
You got a little flu or something?
Flu, cold, whichever one. It's not COVID, so
May Allah heal our brother. May Allah heal our brother.
You know, Mufti Wahab, my brother, he doesn't rest. You got to rest.
Inshallah, that's the plan, man. Inshallah,
I can take over the whole institute, man. I'll handle it, man.
No, you can, man. You without a sweat. I know you will.
You know, I mean, are you not giving me a chance? Are you scared I'm take over?
You can take. Yeah, but Bashir, if you take Sophie's and kick me out, that's a problem.
Okay.
So we want you to take over, Bajan, so we can enjoy with you, inshallah. But so you don't take over what's already yours. But Brother Bashir, that concept of giving back doesn't only mean to give back to the people that you came from. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't worry about them, but rather in some places in our seerah, the Prophet ﷺ made sure that he talked to them as well. Like he gave them time. Even when Fath Makkah took place, the conquest of Makkah, those people who had said the kalima but had not believed yet, they said it as a token to find political success, right, and find political leeway. They when they said it, they said we didn't believe yet. But when they saw the Prophet giving them so much, and the Prophet ﷺ was by no definition and no degree, in any way, not caught on to this. He was an intelligent person. He knew that these people were trying to find their way through. So when the Prophet ﷺ gained some wealth from the people in the neighboring tribes, he instantly gave it to them to make them feel good, right? And that made them become stronger believers. And in the Quran, we actually have an entire genre which is called al-mu'allafatul qulub, those people that you should help just so that they can come closer to your religion. I believe sometimes the problem becomes, and this is for all of us, myself, yourself, Shaykh Abdullah, all of us, and the people that are listening, sometimes when we help, we can only bring that person closer to one thing. Either we will bring them closer to our culture, either we will bring them closer to our family, either we will bring them closer to our personality, or either we will bring them closer to Allah.
Wow.
And we have to make that decision early on, that my efforts are to bring this person closer to Allah, not to my family, not to me, not to my personality. Personalities will perish, right? And the only thing that remains is the faith that Allah has kept in this world. This is why it's interesting when Allah talks about Iman, Bajan, Surah Nur, I know you, Muftaah, spoke about this. He speaks about, I think we lost him for a moment. He should be back. Oh, you're back. Yeah. He speaks about this light, right, Bajan? He doesn't say Rijal first. He says Fi Buyutin, right? That in order for these men and women to be produced, they need to have the masjid. They need to have this spiritual hub. The masjid is that spiritual hub that brings light in the entire community, just as DTE has their centers where light goes to the entire community. If that gets shot, light from the entire city will be gone. And I can imagine how hard that would be for you, right? Imagine if the masjid is down, which is supposed to be the spiritual light of the entire community, then everyone is down, right? So giving back going back to the beginning of what I was trying to finish off. Giving back doesn't mean to give back just to your people. It means to give to everyone, but for the incentive of bringing them closer to Allah. The Prophet ﷺ had the greatest personality in this world. Nobody was more charismatic, more generous, more a stronger personality than the Prophet ﷺ. But we see time in and time out that he was ready to let his personality fall back so people perhaps in the open view, it would look as if people are taking advantage of him, but it was so that people can come closer to Allah. But what happens to us is that the moment we feel that type of friction, that our personality is not being recognized, or we're not moving forward, or our family is not moving forward, or our tribe, or the people of our homes, the color of our skin, my people are not moving forward. The definition of my people was never based on where we came from. It was based on the faith that we had. And that has been there since the time of Nuh alayhi salam, where he said, my son is supposed to be with me. Inna bani min ahli. My son should have been saved. He's my son. Why was he not saved, Ya Allah? And the first lesson that was taught to us from the story of Nuh alayhi salam was, he was never from your family. He was never from your family.
Wow.
Of course, we are brothers in humanity, and we're also brothers in Islam. But the idea should always be consistent for us that we are giving and we are doing what we are doing to bring people closer to Allah, to their belief system. And hopefully they become Muslims as well, but to their belief system, so they can also serve people and they can be empowered to do the same thing that we are hoping to do. I think if we understand those two things, serving becomes a little easier, right? It's not, we don't serve with countries, I guess, logo on our shirt all the time, because we're also serving when there's no logo on our shirt. Like for yourself, I'm sure if you wear the USA pin, you're also serving when you're not wearing a pin, because you have the pin of Iman in your heart, right?
Wow.
So it's always happening. It's constant, right?
Wow, man. You're dropping dimes, man.
I'm just benefiting from you and Brother Bashir, and these are things that I feel like are important for all of us. Number one, giving back doesn't mean that you give back after you get something. Number two, it doesn't mean you give back to your own community. Give back to whoever you can.
Yeah, Mufti, if I can, this
you.
conversation we have, mashallah, I got to make sure I have you guys information, just to stay in contact with you, because these conversations are unnecessary. Politics is the positions of power can be dark places, and it's easy for. I can remember the other day I was with a couple of my brothers, and we were talking politics. We're running an election, and sometimes you can get into a spirit of, we got to destroy the competition. We gotta, you can.
It's like sports, but on steroids.
Oh yeah, and so you can easily fall into it. And one of my brothers, he said, "Yeah, man, we're doing this for Allah." And when he said that, it snapped me out of. It's not like I'm in that place all the time, but in that time, I was really in that place, because running for politics is like, who in the world would want to be a target, for being a human being?
Wow.
I become a target for being a human being, for making human mistakes or whatever the case may be. And this is why, if I had a choice, I would not do this. I would not do this if I felt I had a choice. I feel like there's no choice in the matter. I have to run. I have to, inshallah, if it's best for my soul, to win, so that we can really dismantle structural racism here in the city of Cleveland. And inshallah.
How bad is the structural racism in Cleveland? How bad is it? Can you tell us a little bit?
Oh man, this is America. I mean, Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, any city. I mean, look at what's happening in Flint.
Yeah.
This is structural racism. I give you an example of structural racism. Structural racism is my cousins and some of your cousins who go to jail for selling marijuana. They get out and they come out, and now you have a whole country that has become a multi-billion-dollar industry in selling marijuana. And the people that was overtly criminalized for it can't even take part in the industry that they went to jail for. And I'm not promoting selling or smoking or any of that right now. The point I'm making is criminalizing people, making it illegal, and on the backs of generations of Black and brown people, and now it's being legalized, and those same people who was harmed by the criminalization of it can even benefit from it. Generational cycle of poverty, right? This is structural racism. The fact that we live in a city and our police department, fire department, safety forces don't reflect even closely the demographic of the city. Right?
Wow.
So we have to become a city where all people can benefit from economic development. We have to become a city where all people have the opportunity to be successful. We have to become a city where women are getting paid just as much as men, and in some cases more, right? Until we become that place where all people can benefit, then nobody will benefit. And that's
Wow.
the reason why I'm running, that you have to have a voice that's willing to fight and willing to put him or herself on the line no matter what. And mashallah, that's my path right now. So
You talked about how like you have the medical clinics in the hood, and you also talked about the food pantry. What else are you guys doing in Cleveland? Because other cities who are watching and listening, they can be inspired, especially me in Flint.
alhamdulillah, man. You know, we just came back from Flint. We was up there helping the brothers pass out bottles of water. You know, I think that we have to get out of this mindset that politics in itself is haram. Like, we need for our spiritual leaders to begin to talk about politics. Look at Soloto Youssef. I mean, he was almost assassinated by his brothers, became a slave, right? Was falsely accused for a crime, thrown in jail, right? And it was politics that got him out of jail. It was politics that put him in jail, right? Wrongful conviction.
Yeah.
Politics that got him out of jail, and then he took a political position over the food houses in Egypt, right? So politics has the potential to truly make a change. So we have to. Everybody is not going to be Hafizul Quran, right? And if you look at Muslim empires, you'll find that they were artists, they were builders, they were scientists, they were mathematicians, they were poets, right? They were scholars, right? In order to build an empire, to build a society, we have to be successful in all of these things. Right? We have to promote all of these things. And of course, all these things can be used for the wrong way, just like anything can. But it doesn't mean that you throw away the baby with the bathwater. So I want to encourage people to get involved in politics. Imam Malcolm X, he said, you're either at the table or you on the menu.
Wow.
So we can't continue to be on the menu. We can't continue to be on the menu. This issue in Palestine, this is a political issue. I know that we are seeing our brothers and sisters who are dying and being murdered. This is true. But understand that this is a political issue, and it's politics that's going to change it. It's political pressure that's going to change it. When our brothers and sisters swarmed onto D.C., right, it's that political pressure that's going to continue to make people open their eyes to what's happening to Muslims all across this globe and what's happening to Muslims locally. So I want everyone to know that what's happening in your city is political. What streetlights get fixed, what roads get paved, what schools are funded, right?
Wow.
The fact that you have some masjids that are being overly surveillance in ways that they shouldn't be surveillance, right? This is all political. So you got to change it politically, and you have to be involved. You have to vote. You have to make sure that our voices are heard. So I just want to say to everybody out there that once again, it's not an easy thing. It really isn't, man. Our sister Congresswoman Ilhan, you know, there's things that it's hard to understand certain things when you're in that space, and the last thing that we should do is become so condemning towards one another that it's either you're perfect or we don't need you. You're either perfect, you're either a perfect Muslim, or we don't need you. And there's a balance in between the two. We're not perfect, and we're not going to be as Muslims, because as Muslims we engage in the cancel culture as well.
Wow.
As Muslims we do, right? You see America doing it right now, but the Muslim community has been doing it much longer than America has been doing it.
Yeah.
We have been canceling people for a long time. And when you look back from Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and after that, I mean, let's be real about when we look at Islamic history, we find some very troubling things that Muslim communities engaged in, right? But what I'm saying is that it does not mean that they still have not brought something tangible that we can still benefit from. And let's get out of the habit of being so judgmental that we throw people in hell before Allah does. Right?
Yeah, I mean, there's an actual ayah on that. There's an actual verse on that. Sorry to cut you off, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَهَؤُلَاءِ الَّذِينَ أَقْسَمْتُمْ لَا يَنَالَهُمُ اللَّهُ بِرَحْمَةٍ لَا يَنَالَهُمُ اللَّهُ بِرَحْمَةٍ, where he says that, are these the people that decide who receives my mercy or not? Right?
Wow.
And only أُدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةِ, to go ahead, just enter Jannah. I am the one that distributes. وَرَحْمَتِي وَسِعَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. For 100%, we have to build a stronger balance and the ability that ignorance should not lead towards negligence, for individuals. Just because we don't know what space that person is working from, doesn't mean that we should become negligent of them. We should still care for them. We should still have love for one another. Obviously, there's checks and balances that are put into places for a reason. And as a Muslim community, as an American community, wherever we are, those checks and balances allow us to know whether or not we're doing a good job. And that's why even at the time of the Sahabas, there was these checks and balances that they would have for each other. So that balance, I think one of the hardest things is balance wherever we are, right? The balance of anything is difficult. You put a little bit too much salt, the food doesn't taste good. You put too less salt, you can't eat it either. So the balance is very important. And hopefully from this lecture, because we have a lot of people, a lot of scholars and lecturers coming on, but we get a lot of different types of flavors, right? But when you came on, as you are on today, you give us a different perspective. So that balance is being built. And I think
Wahab, I got to tell you, man, to be involved in politics and to serve at a community level, it's very hard.
Like, you're planning?
I'm planning to run for president of the United States of America.
Bismillah.
I like to announce my, I'm just joking, my candidacy. But I want to tell. Why are you laughing for him, Wahab? But the thing is, like, people say, oh, it's hard to be a scholar, it's hard to be a mufti, or hard to be a sheikh. You might have to deal with so many community members. Man, the politicians get it from everywhere. They get it from the non-Muslims and they get it from the Muslims. Like, at least our Muslim brothers is like, oh, you're a sheikh, mashallah, please talk to my son and my daughter. But Muslim politicians and people involved, they get heat from everywhere. They get heat from, like, the Islamophobes, right? And they're trying to find the garbage that, like years back, they go back, find a picture with you, with, someone, and just manipulate this whole situation. And then you have Muslims who are just spectators clapping at what the Islamophobes are picking out for you. It's unbelievable. It's a very hard job. And that's also something we have to appreciate.
There's a lot, but I would like to say, like, just for the sake of the other side, there's a lot of love out there. I don't think any community is like the Muslim community, man. We see one Muslim name. I'm just being honest. We see one Muslim name, and we'll love them. Like, who was Khabib? He didn't give no lecture. He didn't come and read Quran for us.
But he's not a politician.
No. My point is, Bajan, like, anyone, we naturally love people. Muslims love each other, but we also have the tendency of what Brother Bashir was saying, to have the cancel culture. So we have both ends of the spectrum. We need to just stop one end and continue the other. Like, Bashir, we love you, man. This is the first time meeting you, but we already love you.
When I saw him take a picture with Putin, right? You know what I was gonna do? I was gonna beat up both of them. I put my gloves on. I was gonna beat up Putin and Khabib. I was like, man, you dining with Putin? I was gonna put a pudding in the pudding. I was gonna put him in the pudding. But I saw, like, I was like, this guy's sitting with a killer, like killing Muslims in Syria. But of course, you have to understand he's from a communist state. If he doesn't eat or have tea with,
but Ahmed Shima, one of our guys, may Allah bless him, who's been with us for a while. He said, thankless job, like a job that no one thanks you in. But I would like to just point out that we know that when we sign up, مَا لِي أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ, that the job of a servant of the people is that we don't ask you for anything. In ajriya illa ala Allah, right? And we share this space with Bashir. We're all serving people, right? And at different capacities, we're like a vehicle. We're all different parts of the car that are helping to push the teachings of our Prophet forward, regardless if they're Muslims or not. Like, it's interesting, Bajan. I was reading this ayah of Surah Baqarah, and I'm gonna let Brother Bashir share. I want to ask him to share some spoken word if he can after this. If he's okay with it. But
and he He has to tell us when he's running for mayor, what's the voting time.
Okay, I got it. But we'll share all that too. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّ جَعَلْ هَذَا بَلَدًا آمِنًا وَارْزُقْ أَهْلَهُ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ مَنْ آمَنَ مِنْهُمْ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. But Bashir, this is very important. Like Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he was constructing a city, the city of Mecca, with his wife and his son Ismail, he said, "Oh Allah, make this city a city of peace, and also provide the inhabitants, the residents of the city, with good, with good economy, right? Economical power. But the ones that believe, man amana minhum, the ones that believe." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't say, "Yes, I got you." Rather, He said, "Qala waman kafara." That no, not only will we provide peace and economical strength and opportunities for those that believe, but we will also do it for those that don't believe. Man kafara. We will do it for both. But we will do it for both. They both will benefit from you being there. So from us being in our community, everyone benefits. Because it's not as if generosity is a switch that turns on and off. It's either there or not.
Wow.
It's not a switch that turns on and off. Either it's there or it's not.
When you got sick, I think you got a little deeper in your conversations, man. Like,
I can't already speak. My throat's been hurting, man. But I think what Brother Bashir is referring to, it's all like, it's amazing that everything that you're saying is the first time I've heard it from a person from coming from, like, I'm not calling you a politician, but a public servant, right? I'm hearing it from you. This is the first time I'm hearing it, but it's already in the Quran and Hadith. So it's as if these are teachings that we have been coming across day in and day out in theory, and hopefully we become the people that bring it into practicality into our communities. Brother Bashir, we're proud of you. We don't love you. We don't just love you, because loving one another is easy, right? But we're proud, and I think that's something.
Would you vote for him if you were in Cleveland?
Of course, man.
Would you rally and get people together?
I would move to Cleveland, get an address, and vote, man.
You can't do that, man. You can't do that.
If you finance a house for me, that's it. That's it.
Let's go, Brother Bashir. Please tell us a little bit what's going on.
If he doesn't mind, because I heard a spoken word and I really enjoyed it. If you don't mind, if you can share maybe a few minutes, and then we'll call it a night after you share your details about the day.
For sure. So what I'll do is, well, first let me say, it's been a joy to be here with you, brothers, man. I could do this every day, man. I really enjoyed spending time with you. You have given me many things to think about in my own spirit, and your du'as and your love. Please stay in contact with me, and inshallah, if we're victorious, if Allah blesses us to win, I hope that you're not too far in Flint. Come on down and for the inauguration, inshallah.
Inshallah, definitely. I used to come down when LeBron was there.
Well, you come see your brother now.
You're bigger than him, man. You're a Muslim brother running for the mayor of Cleveland. Wow, I'm so excited, inshallah.
Inshallah. So I'll recite a poem, and then I'll give you the details of the race and how to stay in contact with me. I lived some years longer than Tupac, but still got some years to go before I reach Medgar Evers. I lived some years longer than Emmett Till, but that don't make me feel better. Some years ago before I reached Malcolm and MLK. Some years ago before I reached JFK. Some time to go before I reached my mother's death age. Some time to go before I reached my grandmother's death stage. But I'm sometimes afraid. Not that I'll die. I'm afraid I won't achieve the goals that I sent to the sky. Tears come from my eyes to water the earth. 36 years ago was my birth, and we both cried, me and my mother, because we both hurt. Her from pushing, me from leaving what I knew first. See, you call it the dark, but I call it the light. You say I was alone, but I was quite all right. I'm a little past the speed limit. Sometimes things are clear, and other times it seems tinted. I'm not an owner, I'm only a tenant. I know it's been some years, but it seems like it's been only a minute. And I don't know if I have a second or a minute until I'm finished. I just know I'm going to enjoy it when I'm in it. And when I return for questions to the one who already knows the answer. But I got questions too, God. Why my mother had to die from cancer? But at least she died a martyr. In heaven now, this is reality. No magic, no Harry Potter. She was a farmer. Planted seeds in her garden. The toughness of life never made her heart harden. She was softer than a butterfly. I would cry because she cried. And if I had a choice, I would have died because she died. As you can tell, I'm still in pain. 36 years old, but I'm still the same baby that she raised into a man. My mother's gone, but still here. There's something I'm still trying to understand. If you want to understand my birth, you got to understand my earth. Look closely. You can see my heart beating through my shirt. We must ask ourselves the question, what's worse? Living like a jerk or living with a purpose before you reach the hearse? Some people, they search for guidance in the masjid or the church, reading the Quran or reading the Bible verse, or picking up a pen, writing the verse, or picking up a gun, starting to burst, or graduating from college, being the first, or selling drugs. Survival is the key, even if the means is worse. Young boy, you ain't cursed. Just change your mind. Be careful of your company. Rearrange your time. See, we all made from the same design, but the difference is how we think and how we grind. So I wake up with a mission, because soon the date after the birth date and the dash, it won't be missing. So I want to say a thank you to my mother, because obviously she completed her mission and I have not. So I'm still in the kitchen cooking up a plan so my folks can eat. Some people bounced, they couldn't take the heat. I was going to leave too, couldn't take the grease. People too slick. I just asked for peace. Got to make a change for my son, daughter, and niece and nephew. So I stepped through BS. That's what soldiers do. So on my birthday, don't send me no balloons. Make a prayer for me. I'll be meeting my mother soon. But not right away, but a lot quicker than I would like. But either way it go, it's a hike. My life consists of walking, running, maybe even a bike. But either way it go, I'm going to travel with this mic. I'm going to speak while I can. I'm going to lead till I can't, even if the powers that be don't like. Because I don't dig the powers that be until I dug and found out the powers that be is in me. It's in a treasure chest in my chest. Another day of life. I am blessed. Thank you all so much. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here on the show. You guys can reach me at Bashir J, at Bashir J, BASHEERJ. You can go to my website, BashirForCleveland.com. And my race is here in Cleveland. September 14th is the primary. September 14th is the primary. November 4th or 2nd is the general. So we have to first get past the primary because it's a crowded race. My goal is I have to raise $1 million. I got to raise $1 million. Right now, we are number 2 in the polls. So alhamdulillah, we're doing very, very well. And if there was a runoff tomorrow, we would be in that runoff. And I would love if you can support my race. And you can go right on my website, BashirForCleveland.com. And I don't care if you make a donation for $1, $5, $10. Just more importantly than the money that you give, I beg you to make dua, keep us in your prayers. And to my beloved brothers who are here, wallahi, I love you, brothers. You have taught me so much tonight. You have spoken into my soul. No one knows the struggle of this type of life of service. And it is a serious struggle and battle. The very people that you are striving to uplift sometimes are your biggest opposition. So your words tonight have inspired me, have motivated me, and there's nothing like love from my community, the Muslim community. I love you.
But you didn't give me the chance to just read your beautiful poem.
Then takbir, you know.
Allahu Akbar.
You know,
Brother Bashir, there's one narration that is a little. Some scholars say it's weak. I hold it close to my heart because others say that there's still strength that is given to it through other narrations, because of our brother. Our brother also left this world. Physically left this world on October 5th of last year, in a tragic car accident. But we're 5 brothers, and he was the youngest. But nonetheless, there's a hadith
what's our brother name? I'd like to.
His name was Sheikh. He was a Sheikh. He just finished his studies a few months before. Abdul Rahim, rahimahullah. Abdul Rahim. May please pray for him as well. But in our Miftaah family, the people that are on, they've been coming on for a long time. We've been doing this for some time, and they are like our family as well. So they know, they can tell just by our facial expressions how we feel, if we're down or if we're in a good mood. Obviously, they know that my brother Shaykh Abdullah will make put anyone into a good mood. So that's one thing that they have learned. So we're very comfortable in front of them because we enjoy them, and they benefit, and we benefit from them. They benefit from us. But the narration is inna a'malakum tu'radu ala aqaribikum وإن رأوا خيرا فرحوا واستبشروا به وإن رأوا غير ذلك فقال اللهم لا تمتهم حتى تهديهم. The hadith, this is from Anas ibn Malik, where he says that your deeds are shown to your loved ones that have left this world. And there's discussion, there's been contention about this hadith, and it's being authentic. But for the sake of just having this conversation, we're not having a academic discussion, right? That your deeds are presented to the loved ones that have left this world. And when they see good, that this person is doing good, istabshiru bihi. Those people get very happy. Yes, my brother or my son is doing a great job. And they continue praying for them. And if they see that they're not doing as well, then they pray for them and say, oh Allah, let them live longer so they can get better. This narration is a little weak, but the narration which is far better than this is that our deeds are shown to our Prophet every single week. So, and when he sees it, he gets happy. So there's no one that loves us outside and within the human scope than the Prophet himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what you're doing, perhaps people physically may not be seeing it, but people that are outside of this realm are definitely recognizing and inshallah are appreciating, and that's why you're still doing it. So all the power and strength be with you in this journey, and we'll be making dua for you. And when you're gonna win, there's no doubt. Inshallah, with Allah's help, we'll be there. And we'll have a good time, inshallah ta'ala.
But Bashir, we apologize. We apologize if we said anything. We apologize if we said anything wrong.
La. This has touched my soul. I needed this. Thank you for feeding me tonight. Wallahi, thank you. And thank you to all those
for blessing us and educating us tonight. Thank you so much.
Allah give you so much strength, and all of our prayers are with you. And inshallah, God give you so much success in this world and akhirah, and we'll hope to see you many more times together, inshallah, in person soon.
In person too.
I love you, brothers.
And for everyone else, Jazakallah khair. Bajan, I want to say Jazakallah khair for joining again.
I want to thank everyone for joining, and
we have to tell our audience, like they're the best, mashallah, people that listen and comment, like people. You all make us proud. People come on our platform and say, we love your audience. So they don't come on because of us. They come on because of you. So
No. This audience, honestly, I mean, I've been on live sessions everywhere, and even when Ustad Ubaidullah comes here, he's like, man, I love the people that are in Miftaah chat. Like, do you pay them or something? Because they're so friendly. Like, I was like, no, some of these guys are Miftaah sustainers, But I was like, no, it's not. It's just, I think genuine brotherhood and sisterhood and the realness and the rawness people are enjoying. And of course, people have been with us on this roller coaster ride from when we started Miftaah. And last year, so much has happened. So it's always special to have a Friday Night Live. In Ramadan, we were doing this every single night. And we started doing it twice every night. And I kind of, when I sat down here today, I'm like, man, it gives me goosebumps because this is where I used to sit during the Ramadan sessions. And hopefully we'll start doing more sessions in the week and not just Friday Live. But brothers and sisters, we have a great summer semester starting with Miftaah online. I'll be teaching Tafsir of Surah Maryam on Mondays. And you can join that. It's not like this, but it's still going to be very beneficial. And
and I think the students that join Miftaah online know that these are not classes. These are sessions where we share information and knowledge, and we share inspiration. But the classes are classes where there's raw, hopefully note taking, tests, and so I don't want to scare anyone, but
it's still fun. It's still fun.
It's fun, very fun.
So what subject are you teaching, Mufti Wahab?
I'm teaching the introduction of the usul of hadith, the science behind hadith. So
that's why you were like so particular about a sahih hadith and weak hadith. That's why I was like, man, this guy is a little bit very protective of the narration that he's saying. You should be. So the science of the narrations of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's a beautiful class taught by Mufti Wahab. I'll be teaching Tafsir of Surah Maryam. Beautiful surah, one of my favorite surahs.
Third class is where Sheikh Hamza Imtiaz from St. Louis will be teaching the miracles of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Wow, the manifestations, the miracles of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's going to be special. I'm just excited.
My book, our book got a shout out. I'm glad.
Which one?
This got my book. Jazakallah khair. Hopefully you enjoy it.
If you haven't got
Shaykh Barkatullah.
Mufti Abdul Wahab's dua book, Conversations with Allah, that's a great book. I got one. Hold on. I got one right here. What you talking about, man? Right there, brother.
Oh.
Right there, brother. This is the book to get. And alhamdulillah. So that then of course the Arabic intensive, which starts on June 17th, 5 days. We have the weekends from 10 to 4, right? And that's not long. 10 to 4, you can have even a meal with us on if you're on site. We're doing it at IGD. And if you're online tuning in from anywhere in the world, you will have access to us on the weekdays in the evening and the weekends during the daytime, considering the people who are working and making a living, so they can keep on giving. So that's very important. The Arabic intensive, you get to the Arabic, you understand the Quran, you enjoy the language of Hadith. So I want you to also consider that. If you can't watch the live sessions, you can always watch the recording on the portal.
For them, we have, mashallah, I'm happy to see that many of the audience members are also students at Miftaah Online or the Arabic Intensive or Associate Program. So inshallah, hopefully you're able to continue doing that, and we are able to bring in new students that are able to benefit in a different way from each other. So some people are driving to Michigan to join the on-site Arabic Intensive. So if you want to come to Michigan, you can also come to Michigan. It will be a
beautiful weather. Oh man, you're gonna enjoy it.
You'll enjoy the weather, inshallah. And inshallah, we'll be having something in July as well. So you can, inshallah, just be prepared for another program. It won't be a class, something more enjoyable. So inshallah, our hope is to continue bringing different types of classes and programs so people can benefit from, and also we can benefit from the people that are around us. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum, Mufti Abdul Wahab. Take care of your health. Stay healthy, brother. We need you.
Salam to everyone.